Let's look at this topic of scientific notation. When you talk about writing a number in scientific notation, you're looking at a convenient way of writing very small numbers or very large numbers, right? It could be a small number, very small number, such as, say, 1 micrometer or 1.5 micrometer. That is, you might have a bacterium measuring that amount or that length. 1.5 micrometer. Let's see what that looks like on our calculator. That's 1.5 divided by 1 million. So that means 0. Then you have 5 zeros, 15, right? So 1.5 micrometers is the same as 0. Then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros, 1 and 5, right? Meters. Or it could be, for example, a very large force. It could be 13 meganewtons, 13 million newtons of force. So what we want to do is look at how we rewrite a number in scientific notation. First of all, let's deal with the large numbers, and then after that the small numbers. So for this video, we're looking at large numbers, right? Alright, now suppose you have, for example, 13. Alright, let's not use a million at this time. 13,000. And you want to write this in scientific notation. First of all, let's look at the rules governing scientific notation. What the rule says is you must have the first digit, let's say is A, the decimal point. Now A can be between 1 and 9. It may be 1, any number between 1 to 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. Then you have the point, the decimal point. Then you have the other digits, whatever they are, alright? The other digits. Then the multiplication by 10 to a power. Let's call this P. So you must have the first non-zero digit as you look from left to right. You have it there. The point, then the other digits multiplied by 10 to a power. Now, 13,000. You want to write it in scientific notation. According to the rule, you must have, first of all, the 1, then the point, then the 3. Now, as for the other zeros, you may very well put them in, but if you just want to write it like this, say to two significant figures, then you can leave it at 1.3, right? Then you multiply by 10 to the power, to the appropriate power. No, it's 10 to the what? What are you going to multiply? What are you going to raise 10 to? Alright, let's see if we can figure it out. We have 13,000, right? If we divide this by 10, we get rid of this 0 and we have 1,300. But if we want back our 13,000, you want to maintain this 13,000 at all times, If you want back our 13,000, we're going to have to multiply this by 10. So 1,300 times 10 gives you 13,000. And this is 10 to the power of 1. Nice. But then, suppose we look at the 13,000 and divide by 100. So I cross off 2 zeros here. What would happen is that we would have 130. But after you get the 130, you want to get back your 13,000. So what would you have to do? You multiply 130 by 100. 130 times 100 gives you 13,000. But I want to rewrite it as 10 to the power of 2. You see that? Now, let's go back to the 13,000. Suppose you divide by 1,000. What would you get? 13,000 divided by 1,000 is just 13. Now, after that, you want to get back your 13,000. So what would you do with the 13? You must multiply it by 1,000. Rewrite 1,000 as 10 to a power. 1,000 is 10 to the power of 3. Good. Now, suppose you have 13,000 and you divide it by 10,000. What would you get? If you have 13,000 divided by 10,000, 13,000 divided by 10,000, you would get what? 1.3. But if you want back your 13,000, after you get that 1.3, you say you want back your 13,000. What would you have to do to the 1.3 to get back your 13,000? You'd have to multiply it by 10,000. But 10,000 is the same as 10 to the power of 4. So 13,000 is the same as 1.3 by 10 to the 4. So this number would have to be 4. It's 10 to the power of 4. Let's look at it again. If you have 13,000 and you write it as 1.3 times 10 to a power, 13,000 is the same as 13,000.0. Right? Any whole number you write, you can always put a point to the right and put a 0. There's nothing wrong with that. It's the same thing. It's just that if you have 13,000, why bother put the point and then the 0 there? Right? But there's always a point, a decimal point in front of it. Now, the decimal point that we have is in the 1.3 is between the 1 and the 3. So let's imagine that there was a decimal point between the 1 and the 3 and you want to move it here. What would you do? You would have to move it 1, 2, 3, 4 places to the right. 4 places to the right. It means that this must be 10 to the power of 4. You're multiplying by 10,000. So it's 10 to the power of 4. Positive 4. Because you would multiply 1.3 by 10,000 to get your 13,000. Alright? So basically, 13,000 is the same as 1.3 by 10 to the 4. And 1.3 by 10 to the 4 is written in scientific notation. Alright? Okay, so we'll do another example in another video.